The NFT space is very interesting. It spans across many different chains now, each with their own communities. NFTs mostly started on Ethereum, but over time more projects were launched on other blockchains to become the Bored Ape Yacht Club of that chain. I've made some gains and some losses in the NFT market over the past year, and today I'm going to share with you some things that I wish I'd have known before starting even trading NFTs. Hope you enjoy. So one of the main things, and you'll probably hear it a lot, is just avoiding the FOMO, the fear of missing out. It's something that's very common in crypto. It's like one of the main rules of crypto as well, is just to avoid that FOMO. And it's the same for NFTs as well. When I first got into Solana NFTs, I found myself looking for exactly what projects were minting that day, doing a bit of research on every single one to see which one I was going to mint. And you were talking 10, 20, sometimes 30 projects releasing on one day. So you can see how much time it would actually sap, from your day-to-day life. This happened, like I said, on a daily basis, and it didn't take long for me to get burnt out. I spent most of my time each day thinking about what's going to come out, what I'm going to mint, how well the project's going to do, and this was even when I was trying to get to sleep. I was still thinking about the next day or what's happened during the previous days as well. And yeah, it was just getting a bit out of hand, just constantly thinking about NFTs. At the end of the day, what I had to keep telling myself was that there are hundreds of projects across so many different chains that are releasing every single day. There's no way I can catch every single one. It's not physically possible or healthy. There's always going to be projects coming out every single day, so I don't actually worry about it anymore. Because I mean, at the end of the day, most of these projects that I'm looking at aren't going to be there next year. So, a large majority of these projects that I'll have thought about, over the past couple of months, probably will be below mint price by now. So it's definitely not worth spending so much time and energy looking at every individual project. If you just pick ones that you like the look of and sort of narrow it down. What you could try and do is maybe stick to 2 or 3 projects a week, or even every 2 weeks or a month. Like it's really up to you how much time you want to spend looking at all these different projects. Just try and remember the main point that I'm trying to get across to you guys. There is always going to be the next opportunity the next day. So don't worry about missing a few. Another thing to note as well, which kind of ties into the FOMO, is that if you're seeing loads of posts on Twitter about projects that are coming out from influencers like NFT influencers or even celebrities, just because they're telling you to buy a project, it doesn't mean that it's going to do well. I've said this in a couple of videos before, I think, as well. And it's the same when you've got friends telling you to jump onto these projects as well. If they're telling you now, then it might already be a little bit too late to get into it. As it's already probably had enough attention if you're having friends and family talk to you about it. The next point is to research instead of following influencers. So this kind of ties into the last point a little bit, but it's probably the most common mistake that people make in crypto, and just NFTs as well. It's easy to hop onto Twitter and just follow a bunch of NFT influencers, turn on the notification bell, and then just wait for them to post a tweet. I've definitely been guilty of that in the past because I've been lazy. But just because they've tweeted about a project, it doesn't mean it's going to do well. You would assume that they've already done the research themselves and they deem the project to do well. But this isn't going to be the case most of the time. You have to think in their shoes, I suppose. Why are they tweeting about the project? What can they gain by tweeting about the project if they already hold it? Have they been paid to actually post a tweet by the developers of the project? Those are the sort of the main questions that I'd think about when influencers post about projects before. Usually there is something in it for them before you guys, if that makes sense. They could even be using you as a way of exiting that project by telling you guys to buy. Maybe you're going to buy that person's NFT. I mean, you can take the big influencers that have promoted projects before, like Jake Paul or Kim Kardashian. They will have been paid so much money to promote a project, and they can turn out to be rugs just like that. And I'm hoping that you guys haven't, followed any of the advice that those people have given. But if you have, then yeah, just try to avoid that in the future, I guess. I suppose in crypto, because it's still not fully regulated, there are issues with influencers posting tweets that have been paid for, but they don't show that it's been paid for. You don't always see the hashtag ad in posts that are actually ads, so you just have to be mindful of that when you're in the crypto and NFT space. Next one is just to not get invested too much into one project. When you first get into NFTs, it can be often easy to invest so much time into one project and then invest in way more than you actually should because you believe in it. This can lead to heavy losses if you're wrong about the project's success. It's best to play safe when you're first getting into NFTs. I'd recommend that you just sit and do research and almost paper trade for a while, just to get used to the market in general, because the trends on the markets as well can change so quickly. Solana, it was every week or 2 weeks there'd be a new trend You know, like a new type of NFT, and it was just, yeah, it's hard to follow. When you're first getting into NFTs, only invest what you can afford to lose, the usual stuff like that. Don't invest all you have into one project. A good example I'm going to use, because a friend was involved in this, was the Mutant Shiba Club. The project was quite hyped on the Ethereum chain, but over time the project has only decreased in value. There are thousands of projects like that have the same sort of timeline. The next is determining the time frame to actually trade NFTs. It's almost like having a plan as well, basically. I wish I had a plan when I first bought NFTs. My first project was Spacepunks Club. I minted 2 and I bought 1 from the secondary market that cost around 0.06 Ethereum each. As it was my first project, I had no idea if it was good. I didn't know how long the project would keep up the hype that it had, or who even the team was behind the project. I would say I got very lucky with this project in particular, because I did manage to turn a profit on it, but this isn't always the case for a lot of collections that come out. I managed to sell 1 at 0.3 Ethereum and another one at 0.5, and I'm still holding the third one to this day. God knows why I'm holding the third one still. I just hope that it's going to go up in price at some point. So looking back on the project now, I feel like I definitely should have gone into it with more of a plan. I was truly going into this project blindly, and this could have easily gone the wrong way. I mean, the project itself now is probably below mint price, I think. Even with all the things that they're promising to bring out and the roadmaps and everything like that, the price still isn't increasing, and that sometimes is just going to be the case. Whereas if I'd have just sold everything around the 0.3 to 0.5 mark, I would be up and I would be moving on to the next collection. But now I'm stuck holding at least 1 of these NFTs. At the end of the day, if you feel like it's only a hyped project, then it's best to try and stick to a shorter time frame when you are trading them. If you can see the roadmap and it looks amazing, they're promising a merch club, a game, and all this sort of stuff. If they are continuously bringing out these promises, then maybe it's worth holding longer term, just like you'd see with some of the larger projects out now. But yeah, I mean, in terms of Spacepunks Club, they didn't really have too much in the pipeline, so it was like a case of 0.5 Ethereum is like a 10x from the mint price. So I should have really sold then, because how much further is it going to go? This is the last and one of my favorite points that I'm going to put across for this video, and it's stop trying to find NFTs solo. So this ties into the first point a little bit with just feeling burnt out. This is something that I figured out once I'd already been burnt out from looking for NFTs. I found myself looking at NFT influencers, wondering how they find so many different projects and how they do so well in the market as well. I realized then that a lot of these influencers have a team of people that all have similar goals in mind. When I say team, I don't mean they pay people. I mean, they just all have the same goal of trying to make money together. They will all post their own thoughts on opinions on new projects coming out, and they can do research and then decide together whether they want to buy it or not. I think it's important to naturally network and get yourself into some of these groups if possible, just so you can see how they work. It essentially just means that you always have trusted eyes on the NFT market 24/7, rather than just your tired eyes looking 12 hours a day. It just means that there's always going to be someone there looking at the market even when you're not. It also means that you can happily take a week holiday, come back, and you feel like you've not missed too much. It definitely changes the dynamic from a solo person struggling to make money to a team of people finding ways to make money together. You could also think of it as like you've got one person, right, on the left-hand side, they're trying to build an entire house, right? They're hammering this 24/7, but they're getting tired and they need sleep and they're struggling to build this house. And then on the right-hand side, you've got a team of people all with a similar goal in mind to build a house, but they take turns in doing it. So it's a constant 24/7 with more energy there. So you can see it's going to be a lot more efficient having a team instead of a solo person. I know building a house is different. You're not going to have one person doing it, but it's like a bit of an analogy and a visualization for you. But yeah, they will almost always do better than the solo person. Yeah, the last point really is my favorite. At the end of the day, a lot of us are here for the same sort of goals anyway. You know, we all want to make money. That's one of the main priorities. And then also, you want to help your friends and family do the same, so they don't have to constantly work this 9-to-5 grind that so many people have to do. As long as you can afford the essentials, and then you can start paying for those essentials for other people, then that's the main goal. I'm going to do another video talking about how to look for NFTs in the future as well before the release. And also in the future, I want to include some kind of series NFT type thing as well. Just where I talk about any upcoming projects for the week, any that are particularly hyped, or any news on some of the big projects as well. I think an NFT week could be quite cool. Let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow all the socials. On all the communities as well. We've got a Discord coming soon, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, that's going to be everything. I'll stop waffling here. Love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.